In a humble farming household, there lived a father with two sons, one endowed with shrewdness, the other somewhat lacking in intelligence. On one particular day, the farmer approached his intelligent son and handed him a duck, instructing him, "Take this duck to the market and sell it for $5. If you happen to secure a higher price, you are welcome to spend the surplus at a certain establishment on your way back." The son dutifully headed to the market with the duck, successfully selling it for $7. Following his sale, he made his way to the designated establishment and enjoyed spending the extra $2 he had earned before returning home by day's end. About a month later, the farmer found himself in need of extra funds and decided to employ the same strategy with his sons once more. However, this time his clever son was inexplicably absent. Consequently, he approached his less intelligent son with the familiar directive, "Take this duck to the market and sell it for $5. Any surplus you earn can be used at the same establishment on your way back." The less intelligent son embarked on his journey with the duck, but a few miles down the road he allowed his impulses to take control, steering his path directly to the establishment. Upon arrival, he was asked about his method of payment, to which he responded, "I have this duck." After some contemplation, the lady in charge agreed to exchange a brief encounter for the duck. Following their encounter, she proposed, "That was extraordinary. Can we do it again? You can even keep the duck," to which he happily concurred. Feeling weary, he set off for the journey back home. During the drive, the duck grew frightened and flew out of the window, colliding with an approaching semi-truck. Both vehicles came to a halt, and the son and the semi-truck driver conversed. The driver, deeply apologetic, said, "I'm terribly sorry I accidentally killed your duck in a flash. Please accept $15 as compensation for your inconvenience," to which the son readily agreed, continuing on his way. Upon his return home, the farmer inquired about the funds he had earned. The son proudly displayed his earnings, revealing the $15. The farmer was taken aback and pressed his son for a detailed account of his day. The son humorously recounted, "Well, I obtained a transaction for a duck for a transaction, and $15 for the mishap involving the duck." Once, a gentleman made the decision to acquire a parrot. This avian companion was undeniably stunning, yet it had an unfortunate penchant for uttering the most profane words throughout the day. The man, exasperated by the parrot's ceaseless vulgar tirades, attempted numerous methods to silence it. He tried covering the cage, playing blaring music, and even resorted to threatening the bird, but none of these tactics proved effective. After enduring days of relentless profanity, the man's frustration reached a breaking point, and he impulsively placed the parrot in the freezer. Initially, the parrot squawked and thrashed about, but then an eerie silence engulfed the freezer. Overwhelmed by guilt and concerned that the parrot might have succumbed to fear, the man reluctantly reopened the freezer. To his astonishment, the parrot emerged, perched on his arm, and began with a solemn apology, saying, "I deeply regret my inappropriate conduct. I assure you, such behavior will never recur." The man, utterly flabbergasted, was about to respond when the parrot cleared its throat and inquired, "If you don't mind my asking, what happened to the chicken?" In a quaint tale of love and matrimony, there's a young Italian couple, Maria and Luigi, who recently immigrated to their new home. Their love blossomed, leading them to tie the knot. While they were not particularly wealthy, they chose to spend their honeymoon night at Maria's parents' home. Maria, a nervous virgin, found herself in a situation where her mother, busy preparing a delicious pot of spaghetti, had to console her and encourage her to join her husband upstairs. It took some effort, but eventually Maria summoned the courage to ascend the stairs. Upon reaching the bedroom, Maria was greeted by Luigi, who cast a long and passionate gaze upon her. This intense look startled her, prompting her to hastily retreat downstairs. She exclaimed to her mother, "Mama, Mama, he has such an unusual expression on his face." Mama, still engrossed in her culinary endeavor, responded, "Oh, that means he's a passionate man, my dear. You are fortunate. Now go back upstairs." Maria mustered the courage to return to the bedroom where she found Luigi sitting on the bed, shirtless, displaying a notably hairy chest. Once again, she hurried downstairs and informed her mother, "Mama, Mama, he has such a hairy chest." Mama, ever the culinary multitasker, replied, "You're a lucky girl, my dear. That hairiness is a sign of a strong and virile man. You'll have many children. Now, go back upstairs." With newfound determination, Maria returned to the bedroom, only to discover Luigi sitting on the bed, having removed his shoes and socks, revealing the absence of all the toes on his left foot. In her astonishment, she rushed back downstairs and exclaimed, "Mama, Mama, he only has a foot and a half." Mama, dropping her cooking spoon, responded with disbelief, "Luigi has a foot and a half? Mamma mia, I'm going upstairs. You handle the spaghetti." Upon their arrival at the hotel, Mr. X and his wife settled into their room. Later that night, precisely at 11:30, Mr. X phoned the hotel reception. In a concerned tone, he conveyed, "My wife seems to be contemplating an unusual step. She's talking about leaping from the 5th a floor window." The receptionist, puzzled by the unusual request, responded, "Sir, I regret to inform you that this appears to be a personal matter, and we cannot intervene in such situations." Mr. X's frustration boiled over as he exclaimed, "You are mistaken. Do you genuinely believe I would ask for your assistance in personal matters? I am simply addressing a maintenance issue. The window in our room won't open, that's all." In a quaint southern town, a pair of rednecks, known for their friendly banter and occasional wagers, crossed paths one sunny afternoon. The first redneck noticed his friend, who was carrying a large bag, and inquired, "Hey there, buddy! What in tarnation are you toting in that bag of yours?" With a grin, the second redneck replied, "Chickens, my friend. What else would a fella like me be carrying?" The first redneck, always up for a challenge, had a mischievous glint in his eye. "Tell you what, if I can guess how many chickens you've got in that bag, will you give me one?" The second redneck, equally amused by the proposition, leaned in and responded, "Well, sure thing, but only if you guess the exact number. Guess wrong, and I keep both of them." The first redneck rubbed his chin, deep in thought, and then confidently declared, "All right, I'll take a shot at it. 4 chickens, am I right?" With a sly grin, the second redneck opened the bag to reveal 2 plump, clucking chickens and said, "Well, I'll be darned. You guessed it, partner. You've earned yourself both of these fine chickens." As the first redneck proudly took his 2 chickens, he couldn't help but appreciate his lucky guess. It was a tale that would be shared with laughter and camaraderie at the local bar for weeks to come. Now, in the same town, there lived an elderly redneck, looking every bit the picture of contentment, dozing away on a bench in a peaceful, flower-filled garden. His hunched frame and twinkle in his eye gave him the appearance of a character from a storybook. A woman of blooming age happened to stroll through the garden, and feeling a sense of curiosity, approached the wise old redneck. With admiration in her voice, she remarked, "You, sir, exude such tranquility and wisdom. You seem like a beacon of contentment. Pray, share with me the secret of your long and happy old age." The old redneck, who had a voice as soft as the rustling leaves, opened his eyes and replied, "Well, ma'am, my secret to a long and happy life is quite simple." Eager to learn his wisdom, the woman leaned in and asked, "Please, do tell." With a wry smile, the old redneck explained, "I smoke 3 packs of cigarettes every day, indulge in a case of whiskey every week, regularly feast on the greasiest of southern cuisine, and you won't catch me running or exercising for the life of me." The woman couldn't hide her astonishment. "Incredible," she exclaimed. "And how old are you, dear sir?" The old redneck leaned back on the bench, his eyes twinkling, and calmly replied, "Why, I just turned 36 not too long ago." "And how old are you, dear sir?" The old redneck leaned back on the bench, his eyes twinkling, and calmly replied, "Why, I just turned 36 not too long ago."